Emily's mysterious journey. In a small, quiet village lived a young woman named Emily. She had just married a kind young man from a village nearby. Emily moved in with him and his mother. Life was good and calm. Emily felt happy with her new husband and his mother. They often shared warm family dinners together. One afternoon, something new happened. Emily's mother-in-law called her to her room. Emily was a little surprised but went quickly. When she came in, her mother-in-law smiled. "Come, sit next to me, my child," she said softly. Emily sat down, wondering what was going on. After a moment, her mother-in-law spoke quietly. "Tonight, I want you to bake some scones. I want to take you somewhere special." Emily was a good girl, so she said yes. But as she stood up, her mother-in-law added, "Oh, and one more thing. Don't tell your husband about this. It's our secret." Emily left the room with many questions in her head. Where was her mother-in-law taking her? Why was it a secret? Why couldn't her husband know? So many questions, but no answers. Still, she started to bake the scones. The sweet smell filled the kitchen, but her mind was full of worries. As it got dark, Emily felt more worried. 8 o'clock came and went, but her mother-in-law did not appear. Emily was about to give up and go to sleep. Her husband was fast asleep in their bedroom, snoring loudly, unable to be woken. Then, she heard a soft knock at the door. Emily opened the door. Her mother-in-law stood there, looking like she had a secret. She waved her hand, telling Emily, "Come, let's go." As they stepped outside, Emily, still looking distressed, showed her mother-in-law the scones in her lunchbox. Her mother-in-law took one, gave one to Emily, and said, "Don't eat it, just hold it." Emily did as she was told. Then, very fast, something amazing happened. A whoosh, a blur, and suddenly, they were flying in the dark night sky on a giant, magical scone. Emily was so scared. She screamed, "What's happening? Where are you taking me?" Her mother-in-law was calm. She looked at Emily, smiling faintly, and said, "Calm down, child. Please, just trust me." The scary flight felt very fast. Soon, they landed softly on a big, dark field. It was totally dark, so a huge fire was lit. The fire made light, and Emily could see many people. Her eyes grew wide. Around her were not just normal people, but also shadowy ghosts, women with an unsettling, witchy, aura, and other familiar women from her own village. Her mother-in-law, now dressed in elaborate traditional African spiritual attire, stood behind Emily, smiling and talking with the other witches, their red eyes glowing and small horns subtly protruding, their intentions seeming wicked. Everyone was very happy to see Emily. The other women gathered around Emily's mother-in-law. They said nice things to her. "How did you do it?" they asked excitedly. "We tried to bring our daughters-in-law, but they all said no." Emily stood still, shaking, scared and very confused. But her mother-in-law smiled proudly, telling everyone how good and kind Emily was. The crowd was happy. Then, one person said, "Wow, that's great. Let's welcome her by showing her how we do things here." 2 sticks were brought out, one obsidian black and one vibrant red. They told Emily to take the black stick. They said to hold it like she was making it sleep. Emily was scared, but she did what they said. Boom! Right away, everyone around her fell to the ground. They were all fast asleep. The witches, the ghosts, the village women, even her mother-in-law, all were sleeping. Only Emily was standing, looking shocked and bewildered. Before this, they had told her what to do if this happened. So, Emily quickly picked up the red stick. It felt warm in her hand. She held it up like she was making it stand. Boom! Just as fast, everyone woke up. They blinked and stretched, like they had just woken from a deep sleep. Everyone clapped loudly. "Wow, she learns fast." They cheered. They asked her to do the trick one last time. This was so new people could see it. When Emily heard, "last chance," a brave idea came to her. She made them all sleep again. Then, holding both the black and red sticks tightly, she turned and ran. She ran into the deep darkness, away from the fire and the sleeping crowd, determined to escape this mysterious and terrifying world. She ran in the darkness of the forest. It was so dark and quiet, all you could hear was the chilling sound of an owl, a mournful, hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo-hoo, echoing through the trees. Emily kept on running, terrified and crying non-stop. She didn't see where she was going, but she was just running for her life. She kept on thinking about what had happened, the horrific scene at the mysterious place. Then, she realized she was near her husband's house. "Oh my God, I'm here," she whispered to herself, but, how? She wiped her tears and got inside the house, going straight to her room. She found her husband still sleeping in the same way she had left him. She tried to wake him up, shaking him gently. Wake up, she pleaded, but he didn't stir. Emily sat there right next to him, looking utterly confused. Why can't he wake up? She wondered aloud. All of a sudden, she remembered. What if my mother-in-law used one of those sticks to make him sleep? She gasped. She quickly took the red stick and held it up. Just then, her husband woke up. Furious, Emily began to beat her husband with her tiny fists on his chest, tears streaming down her face. Why didn't you tell me that your mom is a witch? Tell me why, she cried. Her husband was so surprised. What are you saying? What are you talking about? Please calm down. Come to bed, let's talk about this. I don't want to calm down. I want to go home. I will not come back to this house. Your mom is a witch. I want to go to my parents' house now. Emily insisted. Okay, calm down. I will take you to your house in the morning because right now it is very dark, it could be dangerous, he reasoned. But Emily insisted they go immediately because she did not want to be there anymore. They went to Emily's parents' house and got there, explaining everything. Emily's parents were terrified to hear this. Even her husband was still in shock. All four of them decided to go to the king of the village to report this matter. They went there and explained everything to the king. The king took his army, and all of them went to the mysterious, scary place. When they got there, it was already morning. They found people sleeping as if they had been like that since last night. It was winter time, so all of them had frozen from the cold. The king spoke. Where is the girl with the sticks? She must come wake these people up, but Emily's father had a request first. He asked if it was possible for them to be whipped, beaten up, before they were woken up. The king agreed with him. The army took out their sticks, their shumboks, and those people were beaten until they bled. Then the king said it was enough and it was time for them to be woken up. Emily came forward and lifted the red stick up. All of them rose up. The ghosts disappeared out of nowhere. The real people were the ones who stood there, confused and feeling ashamed at the same time. The king gave those witches a punishment, including Emily's mother-in-law. He told them to pack every little thing that belonged to them and get out of his village with immediate effect. But out of everything, Emily's mother-in-law still had some nerve. She looked into Emily's eyes and said, "How could you humiliate me like this? In front of my son? And everyone else? Girl, I won't spare you." She said that angrily, in front of the king and everyone. So Emily went back to her parents' home with her parents. She did not want anything to do with her husband and his mom. Emily's mom and dad thought about what their in-law had said at the mysterious place, that she wouldn't spare their daughter. They decided to go look for a traditional healer, just to come and protect their daughter and their entire house. The healer came and did everything that needed to be done. Then everything was looking good. Emily was happy to be home safe with her parents. Later that evening, they were just chilling, watching TV, when Emily heard a sound of something she couldn't understand. It was like a big monster, so big that every time it walked, the ground was shaking. It was coming towards Emily's house because she could hear it singing, and the song was coming closer and closer. Emily called out to her mother and father, but they just passed out. She shook them, tried to bite them, forced them to stand, but there was no luck. At that time, it was quiet, all you could hear was the song that was coming closer and closer to Emily's home. It was like the whole village was sleeping, the way it was quiet. Emily opened the door to try to get help, but it was too late. The big monster was there. That thing looked so big and scary. When Emily tried to run, the monster stretched its hand and took Emily, putting her inside its big ear. Then it went. Emily kept on screaming, shouting, and saying, "Leave me alone. I did not do anything. Where are you taking me?" The monster did not care about what Emily was saying or doing. It kept on singing and going wherever it was going. When they arrived there, the monster took Emily out and pushed her to the ground. Emily saw her mother-in-law and other witches standing there, looking angry as ever. They were all holding bunches of sticks in their hands. Then the mother-in-law spoke again, "Child, how could you do this to me? I trusted you, but you, what did you do? Humiliate me? I will not spare you." They dragged her to the open ground, and all of them started to beat her. They beat her the whole night. Then, around 3 a.m. in the morning, the mother-in-law said to the monster, "You can take her back." The monster took Emily back and dropped her by the gate at her parents' house. She couldn't even walk properly. She got into the house and tried to wake her parents up, and this time they woke up. Emily was in pain, she was bleeding so much. Her parents were very hurt to see their daughter like that. She tried to explain what happened because they were asking how this monster came here and took their child. Emily told them everything. They went to look for another healer. The second healer came and did some ritual, but still, the same thing happened to Emily every night. Emily got pushed like that every day to a point where she was about to lose her life. She was not looking the same anymore. She was so thin, you could see bones through her body. Her parents were stressed and scared for their child's life because they could see that she was getting worse day by day. All the healers they called could not help Emily. Her parents were so heartbroken. They thought to themselves, we couldn't have our child, now we are going to lose her. Days went by, still no help. The parents even lost hope. They were just waiting for the day God would take Emily. One day, as Emily's mother was sitting outside, stressing about the whole situation, she saw a young man who was passing by. The man looked like a healer, but he was someone you could look down on. He was wearing torn clothes. Then Emily's mother called the young man, and Emily's father was coming to join them when Emily's mother started crying, telling the young man what had been happening to their child. In Emily's mom's mind, she was just trying her luck. She did not think this young healer could actually help. But the young man told them not to worry. He told them that the situation was just a minor issue. As for Emily, she was always in bed with pains. She had no hope in her life. The young healer went to the king to ask for 4 men, and then he added Emily's father and himself, so there were 6 of them. He told them to meet at Emily's home later that night. He did some ritual. He took a razor blade and cut each and every one of them on their right hand. As soon as a small amount of blood came, he applied some traditional muti on the bleeding area. He did that on the 6 men, including himself. He also did that to Emily's neighbors. He said, when this monster thing comes, everybody that I did this ritual on will hear it. He took 2 men and told them to hide by the gate, another 2 to hide by the yard, and he said to Emily's father, you and I will hide by the door. When the monster comes, when it passes by the gate, the ones who were hiding there will follow it without it being aware. Same as the ones hiding by the yard, they will follow it. So it was followed by 4 men. The time came. Everybody was in their corner, waiting to hear this mystery of the monster when it arrived. Everyone was scared. Emily, too, she was shaking in fear. She heard the monster singing and she said, Mom, are you awake? Can you hear it? Her mom replied, don't worry, baby, I'm awake. I can hear everything. Emily's mother was now shaking after hearing this monster. It came. It passed by the gate, the 2 men followed it. It carried on by the yard, the other 2 men followed. Now there were 4 of them. Remember, it was dark, so the monster was not aware. When it reached the door, it tried to open it. The healer and Emily's father came out. They chopped it with swords. All 6 of them chopped this thing until it fell down, dead. The healer burned its body to ashes, then mixed it with muti. He told Emily's parents to take the ashes and sprinkle them in the river where the witches and Emily's mother-in-law wouldn't be able to try to wake it up. Emily and her parents were very happy. They thanked the young healer. The witches waited and waited, but the monster did not come back, even today. As for Emily, she lives happily ever after with her parents. The end.